Well, hi once again, everybody. Welcome into another edition of the New Vegas Sand Trap on Facebook Live. Coming to you, of course, from the great Rigel Studios here in the entertainment capital of the world. And, of course, that's nowhere else but Las Vegas, Nevada. We are just steps away from the world-famous Las Vegas Strip. Beautiful day here in Las Vegas. We're getting great spring weather. So if you're coming here, you got a great time to get out, play some golf, enjoy all of our sites. We've got a wonderful, wonderful show for you that is being brought to you by Swing U, the best damn golf app in the business. Just download them for free, swingu.com. They've got GPS, they've got swing tips for you, a whole variety of stuff. So if you want to own your game, go to swingu.com. We've got a special treat in store. Not only do we have a great guest that we're talking to, but we've got a great in-studio guest as well that I want to introduce and tell you a little bit about. So it's my pleasure right now to introduce to you Alex Phillips, who is a friend of mine. I've had the great pleasure of playing golf with her. And let me tell you briefly about Alex a little bit. She's a native of Reno, Nevada. She became interested, she is a long drive competitor. She became interested in long drive, I think in about 2015, Alex, if I'm not mistaken. Shortly after that, she competed in the women's division in the World Long Drive Championship, where you took fourth place, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Alex has several runner-up finishes in a lot of long drive competitions as well. So glad to have you in studio. Thanks for showing up.
Thank you for having me.
You've been having a very busy schedule as of late, getting ready, I guess, for the season.
Yes.
What's been going on with you briefly?
Well, the big thing this year is I'm actually kind of transferring out of long drive and into playing golf again. So I'm actually starting to play tournament golf. So the last couple weeks I did the Monday qualifiers for the LPGA. And then in 3 days I'm going to be competing in the U.S. Open qualifier up in the Bay Area. That
is great. You would be awesome out on the ladies tour with the way you hit it.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. That is the plan. Anyway, we'll talk a little bit more about that as the show goes on. All right, let me introduce our guest that Alex and I are going to be talking to you. He's a gentleman that's been teaching golf for over a couple of decades. He is located in the beautiful city of Sioux Falls. Thank you very much. South Dakota. Let me introduce everybody to my friend Todd Kolb. Todd is the principal instructor in the Todd Kolb Golf Academy, as I mentioned, in Sioux Falls, Indiana. North Dakota. I'm sorry. Boy, what is with me today? I think I've had too much coffee. No, cancel that other beer, will you? I think that's the problem. Todd is only one of a handful of instructors who have been certified by the PGA of America in golf instruction, and I want to find out a little bit more about that with Todd. In 2008, Todd was named the Minnesota PGA Teacher of the Year, and in 2010 and 2015, named PGA Teacher of the Year by the PGA Dakota chapter. Todd is also the Director of Instruction for US Golf TV, which is very cool. We'll get into that. And Todd teaches players on the LPGA Tour as well as men and women who play on the mini tour. He's a graduate of the PGM program at New Mexico State. So, Todd, welcome to the show. We finally got to you. So glad to have you taking time out to join us here on the New Vegas Sand Trap.
Well, thanks for having me. It's always fun to get a chance to visit with you guys about golf. And I think next time we do this, I should plan my trip to be in person in Vegas because your weather is definitely better than ours.
And you know that you've got a standing invitation to come here to Las Vegas and be on the show anytime. Before we get into the questions, Todd, I want to go back. What is being a handful of teachers that were certified by the PGA of America for golf instruction? What does that mean? What is the process? How come so few instructors have gone through that?
Yeah, it's good question. So, as a member of the PGA, there are a lot of very, very qualified men and women who are members of the PGA who are great instructors. But every one of us, even though we're all in the golf business, might have different paths or different focuses in the industry. mine has always happened to be my passion and stuff has always been in instruction and teaching golf. And so as part of that, you can do additional education, training, testing in that particular career path. And so I've gone ahead and done that, obviously, in instruction. There's other ones who might do it in tournament management, certain things with golf course, even cart maintenance, you name it, all types of different avenues that you can do. So although there are certainly many qualified PGA instructors in the game and in our association, there are some of us who've decided to do a little extra work and get certified in that particular area.
That's great. Todd, what is primarily, briefly, the difference, say, between that and being a master PGA instructor?
One of it would be years of service, and I'm getting close to that now as I'm getting closer to being 50 now. So part of it is years of service, different types of things that you've done within the PGA, ways that you give back to the game, those types of things. And so the PGA does a great job of not only promoting the services and the things that our association can provide to our fellow golfers, but also providing opportunities to continue to better our own skill set. And so those of them who've done some of that are certainly just taking it to another level. Okay.
Well, I must commend you. You look great for almost being 50 years old. I don't know what your secret is, but whatever you're doing, keep it up. Todd, what prompted you to start US Golf TV? And by the way, I think you do a hell of a good job with it. Was it just another way to get yourself subscribers, or was it more to help market your academy?
Yeah, great question. So the actual backstory on US Golf TV is this is about a little over 10, 11 years ago, actually, when things were not very good in not only the golf market, but in the country as a whole in terms of from an economical standpoint. And one of my neighbors actually owned a video production company, and he needed a way to keep some of his guys busy, his guys and gals busy. And so he said, "Hey, you know golf. I've got some people who can shoot video. How about we do some golf tips and we get together and kind of just see what happens?" And that's really was the start, the infancy of US Golf TV. And over the course of the last 10 plus years, of course, it's taken a variety of changes and things like that, where now we're full-fledged. We've got 3 or 4 people who are working full-time. We're producing as much good quality content as we have. And at the end of the day, we're just trying to help people enjoy the game more and take some of the things that we learn on a regular basis on the lesson tee and share it with people, hopefully all over the globe, and help play better golf and enjoy the game.
Well, I know that you're doing a very good job with it because you have a lot of people watching you on YouTube. You have a lot of subscribers. And like I say, I think you do a very good job with it. The content that you provide on the videos, I think, is spot on. It's very relevant. And I want to commend you on that. You're also very involved in teaching juniors to play. Todd, what in your opinion is the ideal age for a youngster to start learning the game, and why do you pick that particular age?
Well, I think I'll answer that in a couple of ways. One is, I think the sooner we can get kids interested, just introduced to the game, the better. So I'm not a big believer in early specialization. I like our golfers to be athletes first, and I'm sure Alex can attest to that as a competitor in long drive. I mean, the first thing in order to be good at anything is you want to be an athlete. And I think it's really good for young people to play a variety of things, whether it be basketball or volleyball or track or whatever it is that they're doing, because when I can get somebody who walks onto our lesson tee into our academy who's an athlete, now I've got some tools and some things to work with. And so that would be the first thing I would say, is that I think in an industry right now and in youth sports where a lot of specialization is being pushed, I don't think that that's really good long term. I think getting kids introduced to the game around 6, 7, 8 years old is fantastic. It should be strictly fun and enjoyable, where they're out hitting the golf ball, having a fun time with mom or dad or grandma or grandpa, whoever they're out with. I think it's great. By the time they get to that 5th, 6th, 7th grade, they should start receiving, in my opinion, some formal instruction. So they're learning some good basic fundamentals. And then as they get into that, freshman, sophomore year of high school, kind of in that time frame, most of them are kind of determining, all right, is golf something that I want to invest more heavily in? or do
Right.
I want to kind of balance that with other sports? So it's kind of a tiered thing. But at the end of the day, we want the kids to be athletes, play a variety of sports, and be introduced to the game, hopefully at a young age.
And
Yeah.
I fully agree with that.
Well,
That's how I
was gonna
got
say,
into
you
it.
have no children, but what do you think about what Todd said?
Well, two things. One, that's how I got into it. My parents brought me out young, taught me, the basic etiquette, don't walk in front of people hitting, the safety side of it, which learning young makes it so they don't have to learn so much as they get older.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is I've been coaching kids for over 10 years myself.
I know.
And you can tell the kids that have been in other sports. You can tell the kids that have some kind of athletic background. One, it's easier to teach them. When you start talking about balance, you can relate it to baseball. When you start talking about any part of the golf swing, if they've played another sport, it's easy to relate it to what they've done, and they're able to catch on a little quicker.
I agree.
So I fully agree with what Todd was just saying. Teach them the basics when they're young, especially, the etiquette side, because then once they do get to that high school stage that they're starting to learn and starting to take it more seriously, they just have to learn golf. They don't have to learn everything else, how to rake a bunker, don't run on the greens, all the
Right.
basic stuff.
Right.
That if you can teach
Good
them
point.
young, it makes it not so intimidating.
Good point.
When they actually choose it.
That's a very good point that you make. Good follow up to Todd. Todd, before we take our first short break, let me ask you this: what is the commonality of problems that your students come to you for help for?
Well, I think
Everybody
when you're
wants to
looking
hit
at-
it further. Everybody's got a slice. Everybody, you know what I mean? But I know there's some commonality of one or two problems.
Yeah, we teach a lot of. We've taught, or especially over the last 3 or 4 years, and this goes back a little bit what Alex was saying about being an athlete, is learning to just move and have awareness of where your body is in space. I think so. Helping people learn how to pivot, how to rotate. Golf instruction gets very tied up into the position of the club face, the arms. These things, they're very important. Don't get me wrong. But the ability for somebody to pivot and to move and to be in balance and understanding where they're at in space is a huge thing. And so especially early on, we spend a lot of time with young people we got a PT team that works with our crew and just helping them understand where they're at in space. Because if they can learn that skill, now it's much easier for me to say, hey, I'd like to see your right hip more rotated or whatever the concept might be. It's much easier for them to implement that if they've developed the skill of understanding where their body is moving and how.
That makes great sense. And I know, obviously, Alex does a tremendous amount of fitness training because of her prior long drive career, and even, the gals on tour and the men, obviously. So fitness today is really a big part of playing professional golf, isn't it?
It's huge. Look at most of the top guys out there. I mean, Tiger kind of changed it. When he first came out, he was one of the first and one of the only guys in the gym. Outside of Gary Player was the only one back when he played.
Yeah.
But Tiger kind of changed the game, and now everyone's doing it. They have a fitness trailer that follows the PGA Tour so that they have access to that at every tournament.
Yeah.
It's something that's important to everyone playing now.
It's just essential for not only professional players, but also amateurs if you want to kick your game up to the next level. All right, I'll tell you what, we're going to step away, take a short break. We're going to come back. We have a lot more with Alex and our special guest, Todd Kolb. We're going to leave you with a great golfer's mental tip from Dr. Nick Molinaro. So stay with us. We're going to be with you right after this.
Welcome to the Golfer's Mental Minute. In my last segment, we started to speak about the yips. Today, I'd like to work on a couple more instructions that will help you prepare for reducing the impact of that quality on your performance. First of all, begin breathing rhythmically using your diaphragm as you've been instructed in the past. And each time you let out a breath, make sure your body is more relaxed. Now, I'd like for you to place 3 golf balls in a row. And what I'd like for you to do is begin swinging the club just smoothly. You're not actually hitting the ball. And just find the nice rhythm of swinging back and forth and back and forth. And then all I want you to do is take a few steps, hit the ball, take the next few steps and hit the ball, and continue on doing that in a sequence of 3 balls at a time. Over time, you're going to see that you're developing a rhythm, which is the first step in our working with reducing the impact of the yips on your performance. I'm Dr. Nick Molinaro for the new Vegas Sand Trap.
Did you know that over half our population suffers from allergies? There's a new, incredible way to treat allergies that don't involve shots, sprays, pills, or drops. All you do is brush your teeth. This new revolutionary treatment for allergies is only offered by Allergy Care Centers. It's as simple as 1, 2, 3. You simply go to their office and speak to one of their doctors about any allergy history you may have. Then a simple finger stick is done with a few drops of blood placed on your patient card. It is then sent out to their laboratory where it's analyzed. This state-of-the-art test analyzes for 180 potential allergens. After consultation, a prescription is sent to their pharmacy where a specialized serum is mixed with toothpaste and you simply start to brush your allergies away. It's amazing! So stop suffering with your allergies. This is great for patients of all ages, especially kids. Call Allergy Centers at 702-331-5230.
If you play golf, chances are you've made a fairly sizable investment buying your golf clubs. So why take a chance on having your clubs damaged or even broken on the way to your next round of golf? Here's the perfect solution, known as the Golf Cradle. Using the Golf Cradle elevates the open end of your golf bag and suspends it off the floor of your truck or SUV and locks it in place. The Golf Cradle prevents the chance of damaging your club as a result of sudden stops, potholes, or swerving. Its weighted base and rigid bottom ensure the Golf Cradle stays put. Simply place your golf bag on the Golf Cradle and the protection arms automatically close down to secure your bag. Then simply tighten the straps and lock it in place. Simple as making a tap-in birdie putt. To have an awesome device like the Golf Cradle for under $40 to protect hundreds and maybe thousands of golf equipment is a no-brainer. Check them out and order at golfcradle.com. Don't wait, your clubs will love you for it. golfcradle.com. Oh, did I mention what a great gift this would be for the golfer in your life? golfcradle.com. All right, welcome back everybody to more of the New Vegas Sand Trap right here on Facebook Live. I'm Dennis Silvers along with Alex Phillips, and we're having a great conversation with our special guest, PGA instructor Todd Kolb from South Dakota. Beautiful state, South Dakota. Todd, why do most amateurs seem to ignore practicing what I consider the real scoring part of the game, and that is, of course, the short game? What is there about it? It's not as sexy as trying to bang drives as long as you can?
You're sitting here with a long driver. Of course it's not as fun.
Of course it's not. But why do they seem to ignore the short game? And what do you tell your folks about that, Todd?
Yeah, good question. I think, well, you both and Alex probably hit it right there on the head a little bit. It's generally, I don't know, for some reason people view it not as fun. I've always found that, Dennis, very interesting because, you know, most golf courses you can go there and you can practice your chipping or putting for free. And range balls, you know, you want to work on your swing, you have to buy range balls,
right,
which obviously costs money. So it's obviously not an economic thing because it costs more money to hit golf balls or full swing stuff than it does to do short game stuff. So I think part of it is I think it's people just view it as, for some reason they view that as more of golf versus the short game, hitting the golf ball and the ability. There's probably a certain type of reward of hitting the ball up in the air and seeing it travel straight in a long ways versus just a chip shot that rolls up by the cup. Although, as you just indicated, I mean, certainly if you want to improve your score, the easiest way to do that, we all know, is by improving your short game. And so I think it's just really just more a mentality of people want to get out, they want to make swings, maybe they want to feel a little bit more active. And it's just kind of the culture in which golf has created people to understand, like, hey, if you want to get better at golf, they just think you should go hit golf balls. But the truth of the matter is we need to do a better job of educating them.
I agree, and I didn't mean to slight you, Alex, but now that you're trying to play professional golf on tour, you got to start working on your short game a little bit, right?
Absolutely, that's the most important part. I mean, you think about it, even if you only have 30 putts around,
Yeah.
which is less than 2 putts a hole, that's still almost half of your score. I shot 75 last week with 31 putts.
Ooh.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
ouch.
It's not fully the strength of my game, I will admit that, but that's the big difference.
Yeah.
Whereas one of my friends out there, Hafsa, she only had 23 putts and she beat me by a stroke. I mean, that's a big difference.
That's a huge difference. That is a huge difference. I think you maybe have to go see Todd to have
I
him
might
help
have
you on
to.
your putting stroke and all of that stuff. Todd, can people in your experience learn to play golf off of DVDs, off of videos, magazines, etc.? Because I say no, they can't. What's your opinion?
This you did your homework on this one. This is a good question for me. You're kind of putting me on the spot here because you know.
That's
that
why I
we
slipped
do-
it in there, my friend.
So much for our friendly conversation here, Dennis. You're putting me on the spot, my friend. Good. So here's how I'm going to answer that. I think that having information that you get through, YouTube or DVDs or whatever format you get it in, Instagram, Twitter, you name it, social media. I think a general understanding of things can be helpful in that way. I think what's most important too, though, is that as a golfer, this is I talk a lot with our players, especially our competitive players, and especially our touring professionals, is that you have to find what works best for you. This mentality that like there's one system, there's one swing, there's one method for everybody who plays a game is just, in my opinion, not correct. So I think if you have somebody who you can filter your information through, I think that is wise. And so therefore, I think it's good for basic knowledge. But I think if you're looking to play the game at a high level and really see progress, seeing and consoling with a certified instructor or somebody who knows the game is certainly time and money well spent.
Well, let me clarify that. And you bring up a good point, Todd. I think the difference between what you do, which I like a lot, is that I think what you do is more, informational. They're not, quote, pure tips, as opposed to somebody who, is a subscription service who takes you through various parts of the game and wants to teach you how to play. And I think maybe that's the distinction, hopefully, between you guys. What do you think about that?
I think Todd's really right in that if you have someone to filter it through,
Yeah.
because if you have your swing coach that you're able to, hey, I read this article, would this work for me?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, oh, my dad's the biggest example. He's like, oh, I read this article, and then he tries it, but it's exactly opposite of what a swing's supposed to be. Like his regular swing, he's trying to work against it.
Right.
So I think if you have that filtration, that pro that you work with, and be like, hey, I want to try this, and then the pro can kind of help you work through it a little better than just taking the information as it is.
Right. I totally agree with that. Go seed your PGA Pro, obviously. Todd, do you think the average weekend recreational player, and I want Alex to jump in on this too, the average weekend really benefits from getting fitted for clubs? Is it really worth the money that they end up spending? Does it really help them that much?
Yeah, I'm a big, and I don't do any club fitting because I know enough to be dangerous on it. So we have people who we refer our students to, and so I try to stick to what I know and stay away from what I don't know. But yeah, 100%. I mean, if you don't have the right equipment, and this is the case for all levels. And this is the conversation I have a lot with parents because clubs are not cheap, and kids are growing quickly. And I have 2 children of my own, and I've been down this path. And so, but if you don't have properly fit equipment, it's going to be very difficult for you to develop a good, consistent golf swing or putting stroke or chipping motion or whatever it is. So, yes, I mean, if you're going to go drop $500 for a set of irons or $300 or $500 for a driver and not take the time to be fit for it, would be the equivalent of going out and buying a $700 suit and not being fit for it, or a dress or whatever it might be. So I'm a big fan and a big proponent of getting fit, no matter what your skill level is, and no matter what your age is.
Okay, well, I appreciate that, but let me just add this, Todd. I think, and it's my opinion, that the average weekend player, not weekend, the recreational player, really doesn't take full advantage of the technology that are built into clubs today because, one, they don't play enough, two, they don't have the club head speed, three, swing faults, whereas the tour professionals obviously do. So what's your opinion on that? And I want Alex to, let me ask Alex first, Todd, and then I'll go and get
a couple
your
things
opinion.
that are running through my head. One, again, talking about the junior clubs that Todd brought up, that's huge. But there are a couple programs that you're able to get a set and then return it and get a percentage towards your next set,
Okay.
which is really nice because they know that
yeah.
it's much better to do that and to work with a program. I believe US Kids Golf is a really good one, that you're able to continually get clubs that fit them, because the worst thing is cutting down clubs
Yeah.
and they're just not built for that. There's a certain, once they get to an age, they have to have clubs that are built for them. The other thing that I see, I don't know so much if I think that technology is all of that important. Yes, I don't want you hitting a club from 1930s because it's changed so much, but you can fit your clubs to you very easily. The Lion Loft, like that kind of stuff can help so much. I mean, I see a lot of people, when I'm caddying and stuff, that they always lose it one way and they're making a decent swing at the ball, and it's just the lie.
Yeah.
How the club lies on the ground can really dictate your misses.
Totally is huge. Todd, what do you think of that?
If you purchase anything, even within the last 6 or 7 years, can be adjusted. The loft and the lies can be adjusted just right there on
Yeah.
By yourself. And the hardest thing, well, this is Alex's world, not mine, because I'm not a long drive person, but it's way harder to create, another 2-3 miles an hour of club head speed than it is to maximize the club head speed that you have.
Exactly.
You can maximize your equipment to what you have. You might get that 8, 10, 15 yards with no practice.
Good
right?
point.
And in order to create that 2-3 miles an hour more club head speed, I mean, that's a lot of work, whether it be in the gym or technique wise. So,
Considering the average club head speed of the PGA Tour has only gone up 1.7 miles an hour in the past 10 years,
Wow.
that you just don't gain that very often.
Yeah.
But if you, like Todd's saying, if you can maximize what you have, if you get the right ball, if you get the right shaft, that's going to be huge for you.
Yeah, I think that's a great point that you make, Todd. Great point. There's a phrase out there, Todd, you're very familiar with it. I think it's so overused, it's ridiculous, and that is grow the game. As a top instructor, Todd, what do you do to help grow the game?
Yeah, that's a good question. Here's my take on that. I think that we, and when I say we, I'm including myself in this. I'm saying as a golf industry, I think we do a very good job of introducing people and introducing young people to the game, whether that be through the first tee, community programs, you name it. These are wonderful, wonderful programs that are introducing people to the game of golf. The challenge lies in that if we're not able to then take those people and move them to a point where they can actually get around a golf course, hit a golf ball in the air, hit the golf ball in the air, I should say, and play around a golf where they can shoot, even 95 or 100 or something to that bogey golf, let's say, or close to that. I don't know how many people are going to continue to play golf. I mean, and so I think that if we want to grow the game, we need to keep introducing people to the game, but we also need to provide programs that take them from somebody who can just dribble the ball on the ground to somebody who can hit the ball in the air and actually enjoy the game, where they can play with other golfers. And I think that's where at times we fall short. We just think if we bombard people, the audience, by introducing them to the game, that just they're going to miraculously pick it up. But I don't know many people who would play golf every day if they're shooting 130. I mean, you have to be able to get the ball in the air and see some enjoyment out of that in order, I think, to become a real golfer.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. All right, I'll tell you what, Todd, we're going to step away, take another short break, and when we come back, we will finish up with our two great guests, but we're going to leave it with a great golf tip from Gary Gilchrist from Swing U. So stay with us. We're going to be back with you right after this.
Hello golfers, Danny Edwards here, lifetime PGA Tour member, 5-time winner on the PGA Tour. I know those of you that have been around this game 20, 30, 40 years think that you've seen everything that's come down the pike about chipping. I guarantee you this is brand new, this is something you've never heard of. This is a system to allow you to calculate the specific landing spot and a precise way to calculate the rollout of the ball so that it will finish right at the hole. This can be a tremendous foundation of your golf game, taking several strokes every round off your scores. I guarantee you. Go to my website and take a look.
Let's face it, if you're a golfer, you have lots of choices. Choices in equipment, choices in golf balls, and choices in the golf course you play. But if you're a golfer interested in joining a private golf club, well, you really but have only one choice, and that's the Tournament Players Club in Summerlin. Why TPC Summerlin? Simple. One of the most established private clubs practicing exceptional member services in Southern Nevada. TPC Summerlin has earned the reputation of providing its members with an award-winning golf course, home to the Shriners Hospital Tour event, a tour-quality practice facility, and an award-winning golf shop. Call TPC Summerlin at 702-256-0111.
Hi, I'm Dennis, and he's Randy, and we're the guys from Socialtainments.
Now, Dennis, imagine if your phone could activate this bottle and bring you a personal trainer for the sport of your choice.
Or your golf tool can provide you with golf tips out on the links.
Or Kyle Busch himself could give you personal messages on your keychain. Well, that's what we do using augmented reality.
Our crowdfund is launching soon on Indiegogo. Sign up today at the link below to find out more. All early backers will receive free virtual content for life and become a beta tester with their purchase.
Now, that's countless hours of future contests and entertainment for just $25, and 2 lucky winners will be hanging out with our team here in Las Vegas at our official launch party.
Back, everybody, to finishing up this edition of the New Vegas Sand Trap here on Facebook Live, having a great conversation with our special guest, Todd Kolb. And by the way, I want to welcome Danny Edwards to the show as an advertiser. Danny was we had him on the show a couple of weeks ago, you might remember, former PGA Tour player with 5 wins, got a number of other wins worldwide, played on the Champions Tour, came out with a great thing called the chipping equation. That is just terrific. So we're going to be talking more about that as the weeks go on. And check it out. It's really, really phenomenal at DannyEdwardsGolf.com. Anyway, getting back to Todd Kolb. Todd, there's a number of industry insiders that are starting some chatter about the length of traditional golf lessons, either being 45 minutes to an hour. They're more and more of the opinion that that's too long for the average guy that's taking golf lessons. It's too confusing. They would like to see golf lessons cut down to maybe 15 or 20 minutes so they don't get that purported overload. Where do you stand on that?
Well, I think it depends upon the person in front of you. I think that's one of the things as an industry and as a coach that we need to be very aware of. One is, who is the person in front of me? If you're working with somebody who's, they have a family, they work 8 to 5, they're busy, you can probably give them what they need in a matter of 10 or 15 minutes, because the last thing you want to do is give them a bunch of stuff to practice and work on, because their life isn't going to allow that. So I think in those particular situations, I think that is a useful way to go. On the flip side, if I've got a tour pro or let's say a 15-year-old young lady in the academy, and they really love golf, I like the longer period of time because what I'm looking at is more of a coaching experience, not a lesson experience. And I think that's one of the other things we talked earlier about growing the game, things like that. This common thought of like everybody needs a lesson, where it means they got to get suggestions and tips is fine, but no other sport really does that. They really they coach. They create environments where they're coaching, and yes, within the coaching environment, there are suggestions and tips. So I think, Dennis, it depends upon who's in front of you. That's what's most important. If it's somebody who has very limited practice time, taking an hour lesson is quite silly. You can literally give them what they need in probably 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at somebody who's looking to develop and become a competitive player, I actually like the longer period of time.
Yeah, I that's well said, Todd. And Alex, when you get instruction, typically how long is your outing with an instructor?
It really depends. He kind of said it right. There's a difference between getting a lesson and getting coaching.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I'm working with my coach, it's just a lesson, and it's just checking the swing, checking the technique, checking the little things, you know. I mean, everything's the fundamentals. I have to check my posture. I have to check, you know. So yeah, that's 10 minutes on FaceTime. I send him a video. He sends me the response. I mean, that's super quick. But other times I have, my coach is in Texas, and so he will stay on FaceTime with me for playing 4 or 5 holes, so he can see how I'm talking my way through a shot, you know. So we get that opportunity to where we're able to get that coaching experience. So yeah, it's going to be an hour, 2 hours of his time and my time, and that's a big difference. But it's the difference of what we're doing.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a huge difference.
It's the same thing he said. You know, if Weekend Warrior or whatever, they just need a tip to get them through the golf course. But other kids and other students, I like working with kids for an hour because I'm teaching them a lot more. It's not just basic tips how to get the ball in the air. It's how are we going to manipulate this ball to go 3 different trajectories.
Yeah.
You know, it's the coaching versus the quick tip.
And Todd, for your information, part of the many things that Alex is involved in, she teaches kids in the First Tee program. So she's really got a lot on her plate. 1 or 2 more questions, Todd, before I let you go. Can a person be a good player, Todd, without having a good mental game?
Ooh. I think it's pretty difficult. I think it's pretty difficult. I think you know. I like to tell people, you know, you look at people who hit great shots under pressure situations, they're completely committed to those shots. And I would rather I'd rather have an athlete who's committed and wrong to a certain degree than somebody who's wishy-washy and correct. And so I think that's just the way it's not just golf, it's any sport, it's business, it's just life in general. You have to believe in what you're doing, you have to be committed to it, you have to have clarity in that. And I think a lot of that comes from, Dennis, creating clarity. I think a lot of people in golf are overcoached and they're given way too many things. And really what I spent, the better the golfer is that I work with, really what I'm doing is just creating clarity. I'm kind of filtering out all of the other stuff. We're not like reinventing a wheel. We're not talking about some secret tip that nobody's ever heard of. What we're doing as a good quality coach is saying, no, you don't need to be thinking about that. You need to be thinking about this. And keeping people on task, I think, is important and helps that.
Yeah, and Alex agreed with you. Finally, what got you from Minnesota to Sioux Falls?
Well, I was born and raised here, and as we were talking before we got on air, you know, of course, I went to UNLV for 2 years and played golf there with Coach Knight, which was fantastic. I actually ran into him as my life is coming full circle now, and our son is playing college golf, and he was playing in a tournament in Las Vegas, and UNLV was playing in that event, and I got a chance to spend some time with Coach, and so, but I've been born and raised here. I've been at the same golf course. I've been one of the lucky people in the golf industry who I've been at the same place from day one of my career, and that's not very common these days. So, the gentleman, when I was 13 years old, I met a gentleman when I was caddying. His name was Dave Hanton. He started the golf course. Short of the story is he let me set up shop here, and he's been a real positive influence on my life. And then, you know, my wife and I have raised our kids here, and we just recently merged with Stanford Golf. and they're helping out, and we're running that golf academy. And so it's a good place to raise kids. It's not always good for golf in the winter.
Yeah.
I need to come to Vegas and maybe spend some time with you, Dennis and Alex.
Absolutely.
But it's a great place to be like.
Well, I told you that you always have a standing invitation to come out and play golf, and I think this would be a great place for him to come out and do some his tips on U.S. Golf TV. That would be absolutely great. How do people get a hold of you, Todd, if they're interested in coming by, or they're in the area, they live there, whatever, to come by and start getting help on their game from you?
Well, they can reach, just toddkolbgolf.com. We've got a bunch of information there. You put my email address up there earlier. We're pretty active on social media. We do all of our content on usgolftv.com, and then also our YouTube channel. So it's pretty readily available out there. And so I appreciate the opportunity to visit and meet Alex and talk about golf. And, it's a great game. And it connects a lot of wonderful people, and anything we can do to help grow it and help people play better golf is what it's all about.
Well, I appreciate it. And Todd, you're a credit to the teaching profession and to the game. You're a good guy, and it was our pleasure to have you on. And I hope you'll come back sooner than later, because we'd love to spend some more time with you.
Well, the question is, if I come and play golf in Vegas, you're not going to let Alex play the ladies' tees, are you?
Oh,
No, but you can if you want.
Now that's confidence, isn't it? That's really confidence. I love that. Anyway, Todd, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Good guy, Todd Kolb. Anyway, you can get a hold of us. Send us an email, if you will, golfgurulv@gmail.com. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook. We're in the yellow pages. I mean, anywhere you want to see us. And you can also check out, she's got a great, tell them about your website.
Swinglikeagirlgolf.com. I'm starting to build it and everything. And from there, you can get on all my social media, AFIL on Instagram. That's when I really keep updated most of my fitness and practice, and that's pretty much all I do.
Yeah, so. that's great. And good luck with qualifying.
Thank you. US Open on Monday.
And your adventures down the road. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the New Vegas Sand Trap on Facebook Live. For Alex, for Todd, I'm Dennis Silvers. Hope you get a chance to get out there and play golf in fairways and greens. We'll see you back here next time. So long, everybody.
Sometimes you just bomb your driver on a par 5 right down the middle, and you get to your ball and it's in a tight lie. And now you want to hit a 3-wood because you still have like 250 yards to the green. So here's the secret and a key for you to improve your shot from this lie, is that when I get to the ball and I see this lie, I just shut the face slightly at address. What's that going to do? Well, it takes the club a little bit more up in the backswing and then a little steeper down on the downswing. And then my hands lead and I hit down on the ball with a square club face. And I hold the club through. So watch this. Shut the face, weight left, and hit. You can hear the sound of the ball compressing into the face of the club. So remember, when you got a poor lie, tight or a poor lie, shut the face slightly, swing down on it, and you're going to see a straight bullet towards the green.
The Metaping tape by PowerFlux is a non-allergenic, water-resistant tape that stretches and moves with your body so it can be applied just about anywhere you need relief with muscle soreness, muscle swelling, and inflammation. Combine that with PowerFlux Recovery Cream, you have an unbeatable combination to rapidly get you back on the course. The Recovery Cream has anti-inflammatory ingredients and is non-greasy, non-oily, and enhances your range of motion. Go online to powerflux.com to order and learn more about these amazing products.
What's up, everyone? I'm Ryan Rustan.
And I'm Josh Kelly, and we're on the course with Swing U, the top-rated GPS, scorecard, and game improvement app.
That's right, guys. Get distances to greens, hazards, live wind speed and elevation adjustments, even shot tracking and club recommendations. You can track your scores, stats, and handicaps for free.
Check out our massive library of lessons and drills from top 25 teachers, or get one-on-one training from your personal Swing U golf coach.
So join over 4 million golfers
and download the free Swing U app today.